no use to tap on your feet. No use to cook something to eat. All you gotta do, all I need from you is to leave me alone. There's no use to say you won't cheat. No use to cry your defeat. All you gotta do, all I need from you is to leave me alone. There's no use to sleep on the floor. No use to say you hurt me no more. All you gotta do, all I need from you is to leave me alone. No use to sing my favorite song. No use to ask me to sing along. All you gotta do, all I need from you alone. No use, no use. You gotta leave me alone. Yeah. All you gotta do, all I need from you. All you gotta do, all I need from you. There's no use. Leave me alone, alone, alone. There's no use to pray from dusk to dawn. No use to pretend you wanna carry on. All you gotta do, all I need from you is to leave me.
Right. Let me give me some lip balm. Yeah, I've been trying to work on a new setup a little bit. Sorry for the delay. I actually was trying to add Instagram, and when I tried to add Instagram, my account logged me out, so I had to log back in. But yeah, we here, and we glad to be here. I know I can't speak for anyone else, but I can 100% tell you I'm glad 2023 is over. And I can't speak for anyone else, but 2024 is looking up for me. It's looking like a good year. Thankful. 2023 was a year of various lessons. And first Tuesday of 2024. Yeah, and I actually had to do some work today. Man, we started working on we got to do these monthly travel plans. So I have to be able to tell where I'm going to go a month in advance. And it's ironic because, I don't know. So I think, yeah, I'll be in Georgia sometime. And I think, I think I'll be in Georgia in February. And I shall be in I don't know, DC in sometime. I don't know. We got some meetings or something like that going on. I actually did do a couple of readings over the break, so I know you guys missed me last Tuesday. But I've been breaking too, trying to make sure I been doing some fasting, some praying, and all of those good things, trying to make sure my mind in the right place. So I didn't really edit those videos, and Streamlabs be Streamlabbing, so it always gives me a little interesting time. So both of the recordings that I made, I wound up having to not use them because Streamlabs just stopped recording on the last couple of ones. But I think I'm still going to edit those videos because I'm not on vacation anymore, or I'm not taking a break. It's real life now. And I'll use them next week. Oh yeah, so a couple other things I want to talk about. One thing that I never really say is I'm always mindful. I mean, I like aromatherapy too, but I don't always get all those scents. But I'm mindful of the things I'm smelling. So when I do these shows, I always smell like something too. And today I'm going with one of, I don't know, I just fell in love with this cologne, and I think, what is it? Coach. Boop, boop, boop. So we rocking the little bottle of Coach. I actually do like the platinum bottle better. But this was my first Coach one, so I really appreciate it. It is a spring type scent, but it does have like some harsh woods behind it to make it a little stronger. And then also well, not the sad thing, when you let the world know that you a plant daddy, as my Prince of Orange has been sitting on the desk for a while. I need to swap them out. I've been voluntold to be a plant daddy to another plant, and I don't know what this plant is. So I think I'm gonna ask the Black Panthers group, but maybe one of y'all know. It's big as me, so hold on. If you have any idea what that is, please help me. And it's not a fiddle tree. I know that for real. And I don't know. I don't know why I keep thinking it's in the cane family. Probably because the stem. The stem is tough. It's like hard bamboo. But I don't know what that is. So please, 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 if you do know, help me out. I'm gonna keep looking it up. It told me some old Australian something, but I don't know. All right, so you know I'm always a little bit over the map. I finally got the events on the screen, so I hope y'all can see that. Still working on the comments because that comment thing is still crazy because it doesn't show for everybody. I still been slack, so Kurt's is not always war is still up there. But for tonight, I just got a couple of things I want to talk about. Then we're gonna wrap it up because I have some other things I need to tend to in a few. So you know, it seems like since I've been on this healing path, every day I get a new challenge or something like that, and it's I was talking to my homeboy, and he was telling me about him spending a little time with his lady, and how when he comes there, his stuff is everywhere, 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 and he needs to make sure that he doesn't keep his stuff everywhere, and that kind of spun into this idea of a stranger in your own house, and this concept will pretty much reside up under consideration. So I really do understand why people say sometimes you got to live with people to really know. I think the part of that that they leave out is you get to see how considerate they are. That's the one thing that you wind up finding. And so I had this supervisor. So of course, I've been in leadership for a while. And I've always had an office. One time, my office was a classroom. Literally, it was the size of a classroom because it was a classroom. And I guess my staff had learned me enough because we had worked together where they would clean up my office. I got this weird organization. I have a place for everything, but everything isn't always in this place. So my staff would call themselves, and I was always traveling, so my staff would call themselves cleaning up. And since they understood my dynamic when they would clean my office, and I use that loosely because it really is just stack up papers, they would stack the papers in the same area that I had them. And they knew that that would allow me to still find my stuff. And then I also had a supervisor who had issues with the way that I was organized. And I remember one time she called herself cleaning up my office. And to me, it was crazy because I thought she's the worst kind of cleaner. So what she did was just take everything and throw it in the closet. So now when I got back to my office, I don't know what anything is, and I feel like a little stranger in my own home. And the thing about that is, although she may have had good intentions, you remember how I say intentions really don't matter, the outcomes do. So although she may have had good intentions on helping me be more organized, one, she really didn't clean because all she did was just throw everything in the closet. So now if I open the closet, I get attacked by balls and sticks and all types of stuff. You know what I mean? And then so it was an inconsiderate thing, and feeling like that stranger was kind of crazy. And then I also had that experience in a dating situation. And the funny thing was, it was a person that came and they cleaned up my place. And when I got home, I couldn't find anything. So when I went to talk to them about being mindful, they actually got offended. You know what I mean? And they felt like I was being unappreciative. But one of the worst feelings that you can have is feeling like being a stranger in your own home. And how that came to the conversation for me and my homeboy was the fact that he was aware of that. Because his ex, literally, she always moved everything he had, so he could never find anything, and it would drive him crazy. So it's wild because a lot of things going on right now with myself is me facing this idea of consideration and how I show consideration and how I expect consideration to be shown to me. And one thing that caused a little difficulty in me is that idea of the stranger in your own house. So if you're trying to be mindful that someone else is affected by your choices. So consider how it might affect them. Um, One more thing I wanted to talk about. So I didn't, I normally have my notes on my paper, but I just got them on my big sticky notes. So normally I just have giant sticky notes. Then I write all my notes around because they be on the wall. And right now they just still on the wall. So if you see me look to the right, I'm looking at my giant sticky notes. So this idea has been showing up a lot over the last couple of weeks, and it even showed up today. And it's something that I've been noticing on social media. I'm in several groups. Some of them Black college graduates. The one group that and you know what? I'm actually glad that I don't even see that group anymore. Black Teachers Rock, man. That was probably the most toxic group I've ever been in my life. And yeah, teachers have interesting ideas about the people they work with. But it's this. I think there is a clear divide between who a person thinks they are and the person that they actually show, the actions and behaviors that they show. And when this idea first came to mind, it was around this idea of I've been seeing a lot on social media where they're talking about um, if a guy chases you for a long time, several years, he's going to waste your time if you actually give him a chance. And I always find that concept funny because that concept never takes into consideration that they might actually be the wasted time. And it's funny because one thing that I always say and I share with anybody who asks me, if you're trying to date someone and they make you chase them for years, they are going to be a waste of time because those are the people that think they are one type of person and the actions and behaviors that they show are very, 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 very different. And it's funny, so I might have to take this back a little bit. But I in dating, I interacted with a woman one time and she was telling me how much she's a phone talker. And in dating world, that can be difficult for a dude like me because I don't even want to talk on the phone. It really requires too much of my attention, and most of the time I'm multitasking, or I just don't want to do two things at once. I just want to sit down and do nothing. But as I was talking to her and she was letting me know about who she is as a person, she was very adamant about this idea of talking on the phone. And it was funny. So, and I hear that concept a lot. Now, most people wind up compromising when it gets down to the actions of it, but in practice and theory, people who talk on the phone do not. People who value spoken language a lot of times do not value written language the same way. And the same can be the same can be said in reverse. Sherry, I apologize. I think I got your New Year's text, and my mind has been all over the place. So, um, yeah. So, like I was saying earlier, fasting and praying and trying to figure out what my new year is going to be. So, I apologize, and I got you. I just told everybody I'm trying to figure out I'm working on my February travel schedule. So, things is looking good. But so she was adamant about. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Ah, side note, um, because it's something I had to do, and it's something I just did to Sherry. So sometimes in the healing process, we have made mistakes, and the levels of the mistakes and vary. And I have a friend that I really valued in my life, and I thought they were a very important person, and we wound up having a misconnection. I mean, a terrible. It was a bad thing. Something. I mean, it wasn't unforgivable per se. You know what I mean? But it was something a huge mistake that I made, and I shouldn't have made, and it kept us from communicating for several years. And I always said, if I ever get the opportunity to face this person again, I would apologize to them for that mistake, and I'd express to them how valuable I am. I mean, they meant they were to me. You know what I mean? So, and over this break, I had the opportunity to apologize to them, and they received it, and I am thankful for that. So, in the healing process, you have to understand that sometimes you did make a mistake. And tying into what we're talking about, sometimes we're not as infallible as we like to think. And it was wild because when I was talking to the person and apologizing, and the way they described me, I agree. They described me as a great person. And I do think I'm a great person. But even with that being said, sometimes we can make mistakes. Sometimes our perspectives be wrong. And that's when we have to know we have to apologize, or we accept these new facts and adjust our thinking to reflect this new information that we obtain. So the thing about so in communicating back to what I was talking about, she was adamant about how she likes to talk on the phone. And she even went as far, and then I thought it was crazy. I mean, I thought it was unique, not crazy, because I'm still being mindful of the word choices. I thought it was rather unique that when she was very adamant about talking to her on the phone, I'm like, oh man, she's a real phone talker. And then she told me this date that she went on. And at the end of the date, dude was a gentleman. And, he texted her she texted him to let him know she got home. And he called her. And she was tired. She really didn't want to talk at that point. And she was like, yo, my God, that drove me crazy that he called. And I laughed because I was like, I would have called too. And the thing about it was, I thought it was unique because if this person, and I hope they know, this is one of the examples of a person who thinks they're one thing, but their actions and behaviors exhibit something else. So when that dude called, they ain't like that. And I told them I would have called too, because that's what you said you like. And in trying to be considerate, you try to consider the things they like and you do it too. So even with me not being a phone person, I do try to be considerate and call people sometimes. So in talking to this woman, I understood that she didn't like talking on the phone. So I called, right? And the first time we were able to have a conversation. Then the second time I called, she was busy, which is understandable, but she responded in a text. And I was like, wait. She literally texted me every single day. Text me multiple times a day, sometimes. And I didn't understand because I was like, I thought this was a phone talker. So I don't understand why I'm getting so many texts. And the thing how I received that as was That's a person that's still learning who they are. And they have an idea of who they want to be, and they might be that person at some point, and they probably have been that person in the past, but currently in the present, they're still working to achieve those skills to be that person again. And sometimes the idea that we have of ourselves is not the behaviors that we display. And my main example would probably be, this is the interesting one. So I told you 2023 was an interesting year for me. So in about yeah, it was about February, right around Valentine's Day. I connected with a woman. And it was funny because it was one of those situations where I had pursued this woman for several years. Didn't live in state and all of those things. And it was actually like one of those social media things that's online. So I wound up connecting with this woman I had pursued for several years. And I tell people all the time I'm an old sucker for love. So when we connected, sparks and fireworks was firing off. And she came to visit me and so forth. And in this process of getting to know her a little better outside of social media, I find out also that she has 3 children. And I didn't know that prior. And the only reason why this is necessarily important, because at this point, I don't have any kids. You know what I mean? So I'm dating a woman with 3 children. And one of the reasons why I felt okay to date her is she turned out to be one of the most thoughtful people I have ever met. And she also is the one that taught me the difference between thoughtful and considerate. So in the process of her telling me the type of woman she was explaining that she's the kind of woman that likes to cater to a man. You know what I mean? And she would say she would do things that I don't even require or expect of a woman. And I would tell her not to do that. Like, you know what I mean? If that's something that you would want to do, if that's something you do, then do that. But it's not expected, right? She'd say stuff like, I'll leave his towel out beside the shower, and I get up early to make his breakfast and all these things. And I believed it, you know what I mean? And I believe at some point that's who she's been. I think she's had those skills. I think she's exhibited that. And it seemed legit. I did my math, the math was mathing, and everything seemed legit. So now she winds up being in a situation where the place that she's renting, they're gonna sell the place. So here I go, being my hero self, and I put my cape on. And I was like, listen, we can't have you in the street, so you can move here with me. So now this woman is living with me. And fast forward to the children moving in. So now it's me and 3 kids, and I learned a lot of different things. But you know, sometimes when you in those situations where 2023 was this year for me, where it was a year of affirmations and validations of your thoughts and processes that I may have experienced, where you wind up second guessing yourself. So 2023 probably was a year that allowed me to trust my intuition. So I went through it in work, you know, where you be in work, when you like, is this person trying to make me go crazy so I lose my job? My supervisor actually admitted. And in dating this woman, I mean, leading up to this date, I was like, yo, this is not who she said she was. You know what I mean? This is not, now does she have the skills? But yes, but it's so inconsistent, and some of it is nonsensical. You know what I mean? And this is coming from a person who's rather disciplined, not crazy disciplined, but structure and routine discipline. And I remember sitting and thinking and talking to my friends, like, am I tripping? Like, am I seeing things wrong? Like maybe she is showing the person that she said she is, and I'm missing it. Maybe I'm being hypercritical, any of those things. And I never forget, caveat to this story also is, while she's living with me, earn her 3 kids. She's not working. So she's not paying the bill. She's not working. You know what I mean? So I'm taking care of everything. So it's one of those situations where in society, they say those are the situations where women do cater to men. When the man is doing, what's up, Happy New Year? How long you been in here? Because if you just now saying Happy New Year, we got to throw some ass, girl. But anyway, I will never forget the day I came home from work one day, and she came. She was like, "I need to talk to you," and I was like, "Okay, yeah, cool." So she said to me, "I apologize because I have not been being my authentic self," and it's one of those you feel affirmed, and you're like, "I knew I wasn't tripping." But then you're sitting there like, now who am I living with? Okay, I appreciate you just getting here. I appreciate you just clearing that up for me so I don't embarrass myself on the live. I hope you had a good. I seen your video where y'all was toasting. I ain't even finna lie, baby girl looked like she was more excited than everybody. Don't tell nobody. You know I'll be watching y'all videos and supporting and stuff like that too. So yeah, I enjoyed the little champagne toast with baby girl. But anyway, so she winds up apologizing to me for not being who she said she was. And the thing about it is, if you meet this woman, you know she does have these skills, right? And you know she can be this person. So for her to think that she's that person and she has those skills, she would be correct. But in the present time, in dealing with her, she is showing none of those things. She's one of the most inconsiderate people I've ever met, even though she can be thoughtful. I mean, with anything, she had a lot of things going on with her. And it was, oh, how you doing? I appreciate it. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining for a little bit. I wish I had a more exciting show for the new year, but we'll get back to excitement. I'm still in transition with a new position and all types of things, so we'll get it live. So this show, we just chatting it up a little bit. It might not even be as long as the other shows, but we chatting it up. But thanks for joining me. I hope you can, if you like. New Year mimosas, I like that. Listen, I one of my favorite champagnes, and I use that word loosely, is Martini and Rossi Asti Spumante, because my entire life, every New Year's, when I was with my mama, she always gave us a little champagne glass of that Asti Spumante Martini and Rossi. Asti Spumante. So when I see other people, Cuzzo, how you doing? I'm glad you stop in for a little bit. Cousin, if you ever want your energy read, you know you family, I got you. If you ever want me to work with you on some healing and stuff, you know we family, I got you. You know what I mean? If you're not sure what that is, just scroll through my page or reach out to me and we'll knock it out. But so that's probably why I enjoyed y'all mimosas a little bit, because it reminded me of when I was a kid. You probably go to jail for that now. You give your kids champagne on New Year's Eve because everybody posts everything. But we ain't post. It was just champagne Asti Spumante. I promise we did that till I graduated from high school. Hey, and Cuzzo, you know her. You know how wild she can be. You know she was tearing to death. She was giving me and Shank. This is a caveat to this story too. This is the best way to describe my brother. My mother. She gave my brother a nickname. My brother's name is Richard. And we have several Richards in my family and in our families. And so my brother's nickname is Shank. And I never forget when I got old enough to figure out what a shank was. I'm like, how you gonna name your son a prison weapon. Like this dude named Shank. And the funny thing is, she be trying to sweeten the story up, trying to soften it up. He be like, why you name your son a prison weapon? And she'll be like, it wasn't because of that. It's because when he used to boo-boo, it used to stank. And he couldn't say stank like that, so we calling him Shank. But if you know my mama, you know it's a prison weapon. But oh my God, I hope she ain't on the line because she will come in and watch occasionally. I thought about, you know what, I'm going to tell y'all. I said I was going to make this, no, I ain't going to tell that story. I am going to make it a story time. I got a story time about this purple thong story that everybody's been waiting on. But like I was saying, she wound up only a little bit. We only cutting up a little bit this time. You know, the last time when you was on here, I put all your business in the street. This time it's my mama. So my cousin came on here, so I put all my mama business out the street because you know my mama. Hey, listen. Hey, people be thinking I'm hard. My homeboy, he was like, man, you got your mama in you, man. You be so hard. I was like, man, you know. My mama think I'm tissue paper. My mama think I'm cookie filling. She think I'm soft. So if y'all think I'm hard, I promise you, my mama think I'm tissue paper. She looked at me one day and was like, boy, you see the world with rose-colored glasses. I was so happy when she said that to me. She's so disrespectful. She don't care if you can hear her or not. So, and my staff, so many people work with me, so I know they heard stories about my mama, her husband. Jesus Christ. I remember when she married her. Y'all got me all off track. Last story. I remember when she married her husband. She called me on a Tuesday. Said, hey, come on down to the church on Wednesday because we's getting married. I was like, Ma, I know y'all ain't just decided to get married today, especially if y'all got a church and everything. This was the wildest wedding I've ever been to because it was so simple. It was so beautiful. So she told us Tuesday, they get married on Wednesday, literally. So if half the family couldn't make it to the wedding, we understood. And if you feel like you didn't get the invite, this is why. It was literally a day. So she got there, told us Tuesday she get married Wednesday, and we go down to the church. And it's funny, they ain't no walking down the aisle. Skip got some jeans and golf. No, he did put on his golf slacks. I think he still has golf shoes on. Like they didn't get G'd up. I just put on a dress. They did have a pastor, a preacher, that they did do it at a church, but it was just wow. They just wore regular clothes and just went on down there. I guess people who've been married before, they be like, man, we ain't going through all that. But anyway, oh God, I'm sorry. Some of that is, you know, as a matter of fact, I since y'all got me telling stories, I am going. Man, listen, and you know them golf slacks got that permanent crease in the front, so them things be sharp than a mofo. I mean, they be razor sharp. You heard? Skip was cutting them up. Okay, so it is funny. So I'm going to. I think it was the white ones. I don't know what that material is, but it feel. You know, I'm a sensory person, so I either want to touch it all the time or I don't want to touch it at all. And they got that crunchy feeling. I don't know what it feel like. It just feel like, I don't know. It's hard. It's light and airy. So you know what I mean. Nike be making that shirt all the time, but that material feel crunchy. Hey, I don't even know if you remember you talk about the super crease. I don't even know if you remember our homeboy Zoe from Winston. Zoe, everybody had to remember Zoe because Zoe had the sharpest crease ever. And every time you talk to him, he be like, hey, out there with that crease. So he got your granddaddy creases when we was 18. Zoe played no games. So since we all on here, I am going to tell the story, but I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to wrap this up real quick so we can hear the story. And I'm going to go ahead and share with y'all one of my wildest experiences in college. And I think my mama even came too. Okay, so Jackie, I'm about to tell. I don't know if you remember Jackie, but I don't if you remember the purple thong story. But I'm about to go ahead and tell the people the purple thong story. But I did have something I want to talk about. You know my lives be organic. I be wanting to go where the people want me to talk about it. You know, if you know me, I got hella stories. Okay, so okay, so another thing I wanted to talk about was, listen, people be on social media acting like everything they post on social media isn't who they are. But one thing I'm paying attention to is the things that you post. Because regardless on how lightly you may take social media, it is a reflection of who you are. And then one of the who don't remember the purple thought? Listen, I can never be a politician. And I say that all the time because I know for a fact soon. I mean, listen, I can run for probably school board. I can run for anything. And that video will find its way into the world. I promise you that video will show up. So I'm not ever doing anything where I have to run for. As a matter of fact, if this blows up, I bet you that video gonna show up at some point. So I'm just go ahead and get it on out there because it ain't no shame. Because if you went to Winston-Salem State during this time period, okay, love, I got you, cuzzo. Enjoy. So it is funny. Okay. What you find funny is definitely a reflection of you. So this idea, oh, it definitely was me. Listen, okay. I'm gonna just tell the story since we're talking about it. So I remember, I'm dark skinned, right? And colorism and colorist, all that stuff is real. So the majority of my life, like, being as dark as me, I made that post on my Facebook page. It's like, you see that black guy? No, the other one. I was the other one. You couldn't blend in. So, and when I was growing up, you ain't have to be from Africa to be an African booty scratcher. And all you just had to do was be dark, right? And I was dark enough to be an African booty scratcher. And the funny thing, so I was called that a lot. And the funny thing about it, a lot of people don't realize how dark I am. But I be telling them I'm like blue, black, dark. I'm purple, black, dark. I'm ashy, black, dark. Dark skinned people be thinking they're as dark as me. And then I put my arm beside them and I'm shades darker. The only reason why I don't look that dark is because I'm gold. My undertones are not blue, purple, or white. They are golden. So I don't seem as dark. So being African booty scratch, I remember that used to bother me. I mean, it didn't really bother me, but I didn't understand. You being dark, all those dark kids understand. The only girls who really like me is girls from the island. This is why I always love Jamaican girls because I figure like all they daddies is black as coal or something, but they love me to this day. They still love me because of how dark I am. And I remember when I was at Winston-Salem State, since I'm telling a story, I took Yoruba as a foreign language. And the first thing that African man told me, he was like, Mr. Anthony, in West Africa, they would love you because you are so dark and black. I was like, man, listen, I wanted to scrap him in that classroom. But he had a bunch of tribal scars on his face. And the worst thing that could have happened me at Winston State is me getting beat up by my African teacher. So I just took that L. I just let them call me black in front of everybody in the class, and I moved on. So right around 11th grade, I started getting cute. And when I say start getting cute, it's where society starts to appreciate my looks. And one reason why I say that is I never really had one of the benefits of being like this and oily skin and all that. I never really had an acne problem. So when we were in high school and everybody else was bumping up, I was going to school glistening just like I am now. The only thing I did, I probably grew a full beard at 9 years old. So when everybody else was hitting their growth spurt and growing taller, mine was hair. So you got pictures of me in high school. I had the shade. Well, right around the 11th grade, I started getting cute. Society accepted as cute. And I always said I'll blame Sweetie for making me cute. And Sweetie was a girl who was attractive at our school, but Sweetie was weird. So people wouldn't mess with her because they thought she was weird. But I had met Sweetie at another school, so she wasn't weird to me. But after I talked to her a little bit, people don't want you till somebody else wants you. Then after that, people start thinking I was cute. So 12th grade, I won Run for Prom King, and I win that, which is funny because our prom king at my school was probably more of a personality contest than popularity or anything like that. And I got a great personality. So this is where I am going into college. So then freshman year, I go to college, and man, listen, okay, you gonna feel me. When you first go to Winston-Salem State, when I went there, the first thing they did for every girl was warn them about going to Brown Hall. And they ain't like, listen, you don't want to be no brown bunny. That's what they call them, brown bunnies. And man, listen, and black colleges for freshmen, they're not co-ed. Well, they changed a lot. At this period, they weren't co-ed, and we had curfews. So it wasn't like a situation I could just go kick it in the girls' room instead since they couldn't come. They couldn't have company either. So we were sneaking people everywhere, tell them about them brown bunnies. I remember we used to ask people to come. They be like, it literally traumatized and scared girls. They would not come. Like, I just don't even want anybody to see me. They might think I'm a brown bunny. And it was so wild. The only time we got somebody to come was my best friend came. And it was her and all of her friends. So it was like 30 girls. So ain't no way. They came over there looking like a gang. So ain't no way they about to be called brown bunnies. So we also had, and me and my homeboy, we spent our whole year trying to get one girl to come to the room. And we probably didn't get no girls to come to the room till like the last day. It was a whole stigma that had women scared to death. And we probably ain't getting no girl till about the last day, which is another story too, because this is the first time I actually ever got drunk, which is a wild story. And it's funny, so it ain't that bad. And we had to get local girls, because think about locals, local dudes love college girls. They don't like college guys. Local girls love college boys. They don't like college girls. So it works in the benefit for both of you. So I tried out for we got this little modeling troupe. That's why I am self-esteem wise. Like, I feel good about myself, but society ain't feeling me the way I feel me at this point. But I don't know. So I decided to try out for our modeling troupe, which was it's Mosaic Modeling Troupe. I'll never forget when they split. They got a new one. I won't even say the other one's name. But anyway, I tried out for Mosaic Modeling Troupe, and they got me, and they let me in, right? And at this point, I had just started growing locks, so I literally only had one lock that would shake, and it was at the back of my head. And so I made it. And the thing about Mosaic, they did 2 shows on campus a year at this point. Other stuff, they did other stuff, but like 2 real shows on campus. It wasn't nothing like Mosaic, especially when we was there. Mosaic was killer. After a while, they stopped. They got away from the walking, and they went more into the theatrics. They wanted it to be more theatrical. But when we was in Mosaic, it was all about the walking. If your walk ain't on point, that's why we go anywhere and crush you. And I can stand. If you're wondering if I can still walk today, yes, I can teach you how to walk. Anyway, so they let me in, and they do 2 shows on campus, one in the fall, one in the spring. And in the fall, when I joined, at the last scene is a lingerie scene. And at this point, listen, I always shopped in the husky section. So when I was a kid, I always say I'm a fat boy trapped in a non-fat boy's body, but you gotta remember, I shopped in the husky section. So I got thoughts about my body. And even though I played sports and all that stuff, I wasn't cut up. I looked like a regular person. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Oh God. I look like a regular person. So, and it's not a lot of lingerie. It's not a lot of lingerie choices for guys anyway, so I'm not finna do it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. But it's kind of on my spirit and in my mind, and I'm sitting around talking to my roommate, right? And he's crazy. Well, he's not crazy. He is an instigator. I'm sure growing up, a whole lot of fights happen around them. So he's the type of person that'll tell you to do something that he would never do because he just want to see what the outcome's gonna be. And while we sitting around bull jiving, I tell him the same thing I just told you, man. I ain't messing, man. You know it ain't no real laundry. I'm gonna go out there in some silk drawers or some silk pants. He's like, that's it. He's like, yeah. He's like, you know what you should do? I can't say his name, but I say Boz. Oh God, I got stories about Boz too. Oh my God, I wish I could tell you. There's a dude on the football team. We had a gym jam, right? And everybody got crunk. We start throwing them bowls. Boz went in the middle of the crowd to throw the bowls. Why that dude kiss him on his neck? I'm gonna have to tell you who he was. I ain't never seen Boz put somebody so fast. I thought we was gonna have to fight the football team to get out the gym jam. But even the football team was like, wow. So they let that slide. But anyway, when I say that to him, this fool go instigate me because he know. My mama said to me, Andy, you have always been an exhibitionist. But Mosaic was good for my self-esteem and all of that stuff. But this fool is like, you know what you should do? You should get a thong. If you do it, I ain't coming to the show. And he didn't come to the show. But you should do it. And I'm like, man, I ain't doing no mess like that. He's like, okay, cool. But he done put it in my head. I was like, you know what? If you know me, when I jumped off the porch, I jumped to the street. So when I do it, if you in it for a penny, you in it for a pound. I'm always 10 toes. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. I started looking around for this thong, and I'm like, oh my God, I done really bought this thong. And I'll never forget, I was messing with this girl, and it was funny. I ain't gonna say her name either, cause she is known. But I was talking to this girl, and she had this purple terry cloth robe, and I was like, yo, I'm about to put the thong on with the terry cloth robe, and it's gonna be gravy. You know what I mean? So, and I didn't try, like, it wasn't like I tried it on to see if it's a comfortable fit. I didn't expect it to be comfortable because it's a dang thong. You know what I mean? And I'm insecure about my body, so I don't know how this thing gonna go. And I never forget, so it comes time for the show. And I never forget, man, Mosaic dudes should be so funny. We used to be back there, baby oil and water. And a spray bottle was their favorite thing. Dudes be back there doing about 7 push-ups trying to make their muscles flex and get to spurting themselves. You couldn't tell us we wasn't sexy back there. All you smell is baby oil and water. Dudes just back there looking greasy and shiny. Ain't a muscle. Girl, no, I didn't steal the robe. That's the good thing. I asked her. I was like, yo, can I borrow your robe? And she was like, okay. The robe part has a part of this story. That's why I brought it up. So she let me borrow the robe. But, and so it's just greasy dudes back there. And it's the lingerie scene, so it's extra greasy back there now. And it's I'm starting to get a little warm because they done did 8 push-ups this time. And I'm back there not doing no push-ups. I'm like, by the time I got to college, only thing I was working was the spades table and boo. You know what I mean? I was not pushing up nothing. And I'll never forget, man, I got this outfit on. And I look at the women and I'm like, y'all, I really commend y'all because I don't know how y'all function with this piece of tape in your butt all day. And this girl was like, oh, don't worry about it. You won't feel it after a while. It won't bother you at all. And I said, wrong. it is definitely going to bother me because I can't breathe right now. I can't breathe, baby. Man, and don't tell nobody because that's the only time you ever gonna hear R. Kelly. But I got this grease, and trust me, I'm up there looking greasy too with no muscles because I ain't do no push-ups, but I definitely got that squirt bottle in my hand and was like, be like, hey, dog, get my back. It was terrible, right? So now it's my time to go out. And I think this is when we just built that crazy runway. Oh, no, we didn't. We built the runway the second time. Bozique was extra. We done took over like 5 rows to build a runway out into the ground. Oh, God. So now I'm standing backstage, right? And let me give you a little caveat. This is my first show. I've never done anything like this in front of people in my life. And literally the first scene, I was so happy because in the first scene, all I had to do was be a tree. So I stood there like this the whole time. But man, if you could see my legs was shaking like this, I was so scared, so nervous. I ain't never done nothing like this. I was like, somebody might boo me. I didn't know what was going on. So somehow I got a little more confident, especially after we had this one scene where this girl came down from the ceiling and it was glitter everywhere. And right after that scene, we do the guy scene, so it's glitter all over the stage. The fact that none of us broke our neck that night was high five. So I feel a little bit better because I ain't break my neck on the stage with the glitter. But now I got to walk out there with this thong and this terry cloth robe. And I'm at HBCU. And it's full of HBCU students, grandmas, aunties, cousins, communities, everybody there. So I'm backstage getting extra nervous. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? But I'm here, I gotta do it now. So now they like, Peanut, your turn. And I get to walk my little happy self out there with my one little lock shaking. I used to try to shake that one little lock. Now when I got locks, I used to toss them everywhere. But I had that one little lock just bouncing in the back of my head. And I used to shake it all the time because I could feel it wiggling. I was like, yeah, that's classic right there. I got to the front of the stage and I throw open the robe. And I promise you, the crowd took a collective gasp. And then the crowd went crazy. Everybody is clapping and screaming. And at this point, ain't nobody done nothing like that. All the lingerie up to then been pants. It's been silk pants and silk boxers because that's all they had for dudes. And here I come here looking like, come to the stage is Peanut. Right. And here I come out there. So I get to the front and I throw that robe open, right? And me trying to be sexy, I turn around and take it off. So now all my ass is facing the crowd, right? And I try to slip the rope because when we in Mozique, we done practice on how to slide out the jacket and how we can twirl it around our head so I can do all types of tricks with the clothes. So sliding out this robe should have been easy. I get to sliding out the robe like a hero, robe fall on the ground. And now I'm stuck on stage. And it's a time, so I only got a little bit of time to decide what I'm going to do. The robe on the ground, I got a thread in my crack. So what am I going to do? And I promise you, man, I can't bend over. I could barely walk in this thing. So, and it's funny too, because when that video, if you ever get to see the video or if you ever seen the video, soon as the robe hit the ground, that one lock starts shaking. Because I'm up there cussing because I don't know how I'm going to get it because bending over is out of the question. I don't know what will fall out, but Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, I don't know what is going to fall out, but I can't bend over. So I take this is how you know I play sports. I took that football knee. I got on one knee, picked that robe up, and walked off the stage. And I promise you, after that, everybody at school called me Purple Thong. And listen, probably one of the best compliments I got after I did that was this girl that was in Mosaic with me. She came up to me and she's like, Peanut, my mama and my grandmama love you. They was like, who is that chocolate thing? And for a greasy African booty scratcher with a thong on, that was a win. I'm like, these cougars liking me too. And it's always funny too, because people always ask, did anybody like question my sexuality after that? And I really had to think about that. And I was like, no one ever questioned my sexuality. And a dude on the stage in front of everybody in the thong, you would think somebody would question their sexuality. But the reason why I think no one really batted an eye or questioned question anything about it was because of how I got that robe. I bet $10 if I'd have bent over and picked that robe up, it definitely would have been questions from somebody else. And then the next thing, Q's was like, hey, dog, you want to be a Q? Maybe. And I actually did. They just couldn't stay on campus enough. The first time I was going to do it, I ain't going to say the line, but my homeboy, a couple of people that I was kicking it with hard, but it was too late when they thought about it. And then the next line, I got Jazz! You done joined just to hit a Purple Thong story. Hey, Jasmine, you know I'm sending you good vibes, and you know I got prayers for you. And if you need any energy work or anything while you healing and you're going through this process, don't hesitate. And actually take some time and look up Reiki and see what the professionals like medical doctors, the respected journals are actually saying about it. Okay, thank you, baby girl. What the doctors are actually saying about it, and decide if it's something that'll be useful for you. Because I definitely would love to help you in this transition. I ain't gonna put a business out there, but you know what I mean. So, but Jasmine, that's for you. No problem, love. Anytime, inbox me anytime. Find out, like, do what you need to do your research or whatever, and then chat with me. Yeah. So, and for the longest, even to this day, I am known as Purple Thong to anybody who was at Winston State during this time. And a lot of times I just go ahead and tell the story because the likelihood of me running into somebody from Winston State is high because they everywhere. They like Brooklyn. They always in the house. And the likelihood of one of them remembering that story is very high as well because it was a memorable story. So, okay, so that was the wildest. It wasn't the wildest. I had some wild times at Winston-Salem State. I remember we used to egg, like, all the cheetahs be creeping at 3 o'clock in the morning. So we used to take our eggs and be egging all the cheetahs. It was hella cheetahs that got egged by us. We were tyrants in college. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, such tyrants. Okay, so that is the Purple Thong story. It took me to about an hour. It was a couple more things I want to talk about. I'm going to, let me see. I do want to talk about one for sure. Yeah, outside of so that will tie into it. That's funny to me, but also seeing that what people value is reflective in what they find funny, and I'm being more mindful about what I feed myself and how I interact. So I'm paying and this specifically came from a group I'm in that's full of HBCU graduates, that's singles, and these mofos are always sharing something negative. And they love to say that it's because it's funny. And I'm like, if you always find that negative stuff funny, it's because you relate to it. You know what I mean? So I'm paying attention to that. I always say it's only funny because it's true. So be mindful of that. Then the other thing I wanted to say is be mindful of, I've been talking about the language that I use to talk to myself and the language that I allow people to talk about me. It was funny. It's one thing that I'll never forget. Speaking of Winston-Salem State, this story comes from Winston-Salem State too. And we had a professor at Winston-Salem State that everybody loved, especially if you had the opportunity to be in his classes. And his name was Dr. Battle. And I will never, ever, ever forget Dr. Battle. I never had his classes. I never had the privilege of being in one of his classes. But what I'll never forget, every day that dude rolled down the main strip in that Land Rover with the window roll all the way down in that Bill Cosby sweater just hanging out the window. Now, one of the reasons why I always remember Dr. Battle is because of his wife. And you remember through that story, I told you I had just started growing locks. So after a while, when I met Dr. Battle's wife, it my locks had a little bit of length, so they can shake. They probably was like finger length at this point, so they can shake a little bit. And I promise you, every single time I saw this woman, she would call me. Dead serious. The only reason Dr. Battle knows me is because of his wife. Because every time she saw me, she'd look me dead in my eyes and call me Black Jesus. And the wild thing about it was she used to look at me with a certain level of certainty, like, you should know this, young Black man. And it was wild because, like I said, I'm still transitioning from African booty scratcher to this woman calling me Black Jesus. And at this point, which it should have been easier to accept, because at this point I had already started studying supreme mathematics and all that. So I already was kicking it with the 5%ers. And you know what I mean? I already understood my role as God. You know what I mean? So, but when she was calling me Black Jesus, it would make me so uncomfortable because I didn't see myself like that. And I guess the way I still saw myself was still some of that African booty scratcher. You know what I mean? Low key, as much as I didn't hold on to it. But I remember my mom used to always have to tell me being dark skinned was okay. And when I was little, man, I used to have so many issues with my head. I used to think my head was too big for my body. My mom used to always say, it's okay, baby. Your body gonna grow into your head. And I promise you, when I started playing football and I started seeing how big some of them hammers get, I no longer felt like my head was big. Because some of these people hammers was as big as my chest. You're like, God, you got a tank. So, but anyway, every day she'd see me, she just called me Black Jesus. And the wild thing that now that I'm in this healing path and I think about it, she was filling my cup up she was helping my self-esteem by telling me things that I didn't even see in myself. And I'm always curious about what people see in me because people see a lot of things that I don't see. And so that's one of the reasons why I also say in this healing path, it is more of a community event because you definitely have to ask people because they will see things you never saw. And so she's called me Black Jesus and all of that stuff. And it was funny because I was talking to another friend and they wound up sending me this text in a joking form, which comes back into what you find funny also reflects your value. And they sent the text talking about future baby daddy, right? And I thought about that and it really hit my spirit very, very wrong for several reasons. I don't see myself as that. Anybody that knows me knows I always say I'd be the worst baby daddy. And in the sense, the worst baby daddy is my baby mama never be able to move on, come be with her and them kids every day. So I'd be the worst baby daddy. And I know they might have meant it in jest, but it reflects their values, the language that they chose, because I've also interacted with women who call me future hubby. And the funny thing, one of the reasons that kind of stuck with me, the baby daddy comment, is because Nobody sees me as a baby daddy. I hadn't been seen as a baby daddy, even in joking. Like, people don't even joke and call me baby daddy. The last time somebody even jokingly called me baby daddy was in college. I had a friend, girl from the neighborhood, grew up with all the time. And we never really date. We were just kicking it as friends. But we had this stuffed animal dog named Rufus. I remember Rufus. So I need to tell her that I talked about Rufus on the show too. So she can be like, okay. And we had a child that we co-parented, and I was her baby daddy. That was my only baby mama, and that died in like what, 19? I was 19, 20 years old. It was over. Wasn't no baby daddy. And the thing, it bothered me because, like I said, that's not what I am. And I'm careful about how I allow people to speak over me because words have power. And I don't want that energy in my life. And also, that also reflects that we see things very differently. And when I think about dating and going forward, if I'm going to date someone and commit to them, specifically not commit to them, I want to make sure that our values and things are in line and we have similar humor. You know what I mean? So I would want to, now does that mean we have to laugh at all the same things? No. But I want to be with a person who finds some of the things that I find funny and doesn't find value in some of these negative traits. And the wild thing about it was, and I didn't even talk to them about it, but the statement is, and especially coming from a person who is a baby mama, that's not a good statement. And then also coming from a previous relationship, my ex was definitely trying to make me a baby daddy because I'll never forget one day she asked me, she said, you gonna come visit me and my 4 kids in Jamaica? And I was like, 4 kids? Where's that 4th kid at? She was like, it's yours. How is your plan already to leave me and go to Jamaica with you with my only child? Can't happen. So this is why I ain't doing that, which is crazy. And it's funny. So it bothered me. But one of the things I said, I don't want people to speak those negative things over me. So I'm mindful on how people refer to me. And if I'm picking women, I'd rather pick a woman who, even in jest, calls me future hubby than baby daddy. And I think we got enough of those, and I think we have to be mindful on how we feed each other and the things that we say to each other as well, even in jest, because in our society as people, we get bombarded with negative to the point that we don't even realize how negative our language is. And like I said, words have power, that we definitely need to start being mindful of it. And the thing that is crazy about it is, there was a point in time where it was easier for me to accept that baby daddy, right? So, like I told you, when Dr. Battle's wife would call me Black Jesus, that was hard for me to accept. But when my friend called me baby daddy, that was easier. And one of the reasons I'm saying this is because I don't think sometimes we realize the conditioning that Black boys go under. And sometimes it's from the people around us with the best intentions, which is why I say intentions don't matter, only outcomes. So can you imagine being referred to as a baby daddy your whole life, and then you come to the point of starting a family? What do you think you will choose to do? No one has given you the skills to be a husband or to be a father. Father is more of learning on the job. Like mother's a lot learning. Ain't no parenting handbook. Being a mother is a lot learning on the job too. But if the only tools that people have given you is to adapt and handle negative situations, i.e. being a baby daddy, because that's not the best situation, then that's what you will wind up doing. So if I'm talking to a woman and she uses too much baby daddy language and not enough husband, that woman is not a woman that I would want to talk to. Or when I say talk to, I mean commit to, because our values and how we view family is very, very different. And as a man who has no children, I definitely view family as husband, wife, child. I think we need the unit. And I've already experienced being raised with in a single parent household. And one thing that I know for sure, it is a hard, hard job. Parenting with two kids is hard. I mean, parenting with two parents is hard. Parenting with one is a lot more difficult. Um, and now the thing about the circle back around to the Black Jesus, I was talking to a friend and in converse. One friend called me baby daddy, and I was talking to another friend talking about the Black Jesus statement and how this lady used to always call me Black Jesus. And I actually, because I'm a vulnerable person right now, so I communicate very authentically. And I'm telling them the same thing I'm telling you all, how difficult it was for me to accept that Black Jesus thing. And you know what they said? The very, 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 very simple reply. They was like, well, it's not too late. And the thing about it is they were 100%. And one thing that I want you to know, and everybody listening, it is not too late to start accepting some of the great characteristics about you and who you are. And as soon as you can accept them, your behaviors and thought patterns will match them. So then when you say you are this person, you can guarantee your behaviors match this person. So you won't have to worry about wasting someone's time that chased you for several years. All right. So we went over a little bit, but I started a little late. I appreciate y'all joining me as always. Again, I need to remind you all, I changed the game a little bit. So if you ever want to join the show, you can join the show. It's always the link is always saved at the top. And if you want to join the show, we ain't even got to do a reading at that point. We can just talk about some of the things that are on topic. Something I said to you, if it resonated with you, you can join. I'll start saying that again at the beginning too. But I appreciate you all sharing this time with me. I thank you all for your support, because ever since we got Rise and created that first week, we've been keeping it. I don't make a post every week, but we have been keeping it. I'm still a Rising Creator, and that is because of the support of you all, family, friends, and new friends and new families as well. So I thank you again. I hope you enjoyed. Next week I should have some videos for you, or I might have an energy reading. Somebody's feeling courageous. All right. So everybody, Happy New Year, and I will see you Thursday, because we are still reading. Well, it ain't wrapping up. There's a couple more chapters. We are reading Black sci-fi books, and it is Ballad of the Black Tom. And it's interesting. So if you know anything about supreme mathematics and all that stuff, he's turned how you get supreme mathematics and the supreme alphabet into a